Okay, I would like to call the meeting to order.
Great. Roll call.
You are right. I was not
You
prepared.
don't need to do a
Oh,
full roll, Melissa. I think
right.
it's not a good use of time.
Well, we should note that well, I'll
Yes.
do it real quick. Maricela Ortega Guzman here,
Here.
Zan Ojero, Jeff Parker, Tabidi Lewis, Molly Rogers, Diana Rojas. Back to you, Maricela.
Thanks.
So it looks like our first agenda item is the director's update.
Well, I'll just say, and again, I think, yeah, good job, Melissa. That was smart. Since we're recording, people can come back to this and watch it after the fact. We're busy with obviously planning for our upcoming quarterly meeting. We're going to spend most of today's meeting just quickly reviewing the agenda. Other things that are happening, we have our first re-engagement collaborative convening. So grantees who are receiving funds for re-engagement, dollars focused on reconnecting youth to pathways for finishing their diploma or finishing or getting their GED, and also just sort of pathways to the steps after completing school. That convening is in Corvallis, and so it's kind of this, we've got the state broken up into different regions. So the first, or different zones, I should say. And one of the zone meetings is tomorrow in Corvallis, and there will be other meetings, one in the metro area and probably a few others into next week. So we're just excited to be bringing grantees together for that. I'll be going down to Corvallis, and I know our grant managers have been we're working pretty hard on that. Grants management more generally for our grantees is continuing. We're into the third quarter of reporting, so grantees are sharing more about their work. Though, as we, I think, know, things kind of got a late start given delays in the fall. So in some cases, grantees were able to provide services and supports because they had other kind of resources to do that. In some cases, others were waiting for their dollars or for their grant agreements to be all officially signed and executed. So we're just kind of moving into the heart of the spring and early summer, and there are various initiatives going on. We've got staff obviously headed down to Corvallis for the convening. We've got staff at a Oregon Department of Education meeting that's happening in person today. We've got a government to government, Oregon state government with tribal governments from the 9 federally recognized sovereign tribes coming up in a couple of weeks for around education issues. Got a conference next week. The Coalition for Juvenile Justice has a conference that several staff and some of our council members, Maricela and Tabidi and Molly, will all be at. So yeah, busy time of the year. In addition to just getting other thing, we've staff meeting, I think, coming up in person this Thursday. A strategic planning work group has continued to meet. So yeah, folks are staying busy. That's the update for me. Next is, I think, the agenda, right, Melissa? We're going to just jump to that. Maricela, sound good?
Yes.
So I think you will see on your screen a agenda for our June 13th meeting, June 13th quarterly meeting. We will start with a welcome and kind of get things rolling. Ideally, I should hope to be able to introduce a couple of new council members. But we're still waiting to hear back from the governor's office on whether or not those appointments have been made. So we've sent a note asking what the status is, and so don't have an update to provide here, but we'll keep checking in. But I think even if we don't have the appointments as official, I think we'll still invite folks to who are candidates for the council to attend the meeting, so that hopefully we'll still get there, have them attend. We'll hope, Melissa, just a reminder to try to make sure we've got some travel reimbursement paperwork on hand for folks. So for people showing up in person, down in Corvallis, we'll be able to have paperwork in hand for council members who are traveling and need reimbursement for the drive. We want to do a icebreaker. Not I don't know. I think we've planned for 10 or 15 minutes, but sometimes those things take longer. So maybe, Melissa, it looks like we've, assuming we start at 10, which we don't always, but we've got some time. Wanted to just continue to build relationship. We're going to ask people kind of one thing they're looking forward to this summer, and one thing they're curious about or have questions about on the meeting agenda, where it would be a icebreaker kind of pair share, like talk to the person next to you and then ask, a handful of people to kind of share what they heard. Just again, a way to kind of build connection relationship. We were going to ask Tabidi to help lead us off in that. It says YDD director, but it might be Tabidi. So we'll see. Then we have a presentation from staff, from agency staff around Future Ready Oregon, right? Legislation that passed in 2022 in that short session, focused around youth workforce and paid work opportunity for young people. So we're going to have our staff reporting on the status of that grant program. We will move from there to a short update on our request for applications, kind of where things stand. 10, 15 minutes, not real in depth, but just kind of like where things are, working towards a work group this summer. So Maricela, one of the questions I'll ask you, since you're sitting right here, is we started a strategic plan work group. I'd like your support and approval to start another work group, or we could decide that it's a committee, but we haven't fully landed on whether or not it is. But just in case it becomes a work group, we want to bring some council members together around the request for applications over the summer, so that we can bounce kind of our ideas off. And so when we come back in the fall, probably December, with the new RFAs, that we've got people on board.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, awesome. So that's relatively short. If time allows, we may do a break around 11, or at least just let people know that they should make sure to take care of themselves, and which way bathrooms and things are. So just FYI, try to see if we can't squeeze in a little time, but we'll see where we are with the agenda. Right after 11, we'll jump into a strategic plan update, kind of an update from that work group. Cord will, provide an update as to where things are going with that. But so far, we've had 2 or 3 meetings, and they meet every couple of weeks, and it's, I think, been a productive way to kind of keep things moving and identify places where we can make sure we're heading in the right direction. We're talking mostly about kind of a outline for the plan, and kind of what are the right priorities, and what's strategies and actions, and some of the kind of framework for what the plan will look like. Any questions up to this point, Maricela?
No questions.
Okay. Then after that update, we'll move to some committee updates at around 11:30, 11:35. We won't do a juvenile justice committee update because they've got time later in the agenda, but quick updates from youth, policy, rules research, equity disparity. And so that should be good. That's, 15 minutes or so. Then we'll break right before noon for folks to also to get get time to get their lunches and kind of get situated around noon. And it's at that point that we'll turn it over to the Juvenile Justice Committee and just taking on kind of our broader state advisory group responsibilities. More specifically, we'll have a presentation from NPC Research, which is a kind of program evaluation and consulting entity that we've been working with for years. They will provide a presentation on the juvenile crime prevention investments that we make with counties and tribes and kind of what impacts they've seen, what outcomes, some recommendations on what we should be looking at with our juvenile crime prevention programming. So that will be about 30-40 minutes, it looks like. So that'll, but while people are eating, and Juliet Mackin, who's also been a key strategic partner for years, is also showing up to our strategic planning work group. She and her staff will do that presentation, and it should be, I think, really informative. Then we'll move to public comment. And then as I've started doing at the end, kind of any wrap up, any key highlights, key next steps. I'll try to wrap us up right before 1, and then we'll let people out. I think we'll also, for those interested, give folks a little chance to tour. Melissa, I don't know if you've talked to folks at Boys and Girls Club or not, or somebody has like, hey.
I haven't yet about that detail, so I
Okay.
need to check in with Helen to make sure that we
Yeah.
can do that. Well,
Helen play, yeah.
Mhm.
And if you need, Melissa, you and I can connect. If you want me to send a note, I can do that too. But,
Oh, thanks.
yeah, give folks, if 15-20 minutes. It's that facility has they did some a big kind of gym and kind of youth centric like addition. I don't know when it was in the last 3 or 4 years, but it's a pretty sweet facility and would be hopefully of interest for folks just to kind of check out all the spaces and see what they've got going on. So that might be 1 to 1:30, more or less. There it is.
Awesome. And is that it for our agenda today?
That's
Yeah.
That's it for this meeting. Well, I'm glad that it's recorded, so folks want to kind of, maybe Melissa, maybe you could send, like, once it's recorded, like a link to our website. Once it's posted on our website, send the link to the committee members so that they can like
For the video, for this
video.
video.
For the recording.
I just wanted to, since you asked, Marisol, I'm like, right, let's look on here. I think there's only public comment, and we don't have any members from the public at this meeting, so we don't have to worry about that.
Awesome.
Do you want to adjourn us?
Yeah, with that, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. See you soon. At some point, Marisol, next week?
No, this afternoon. Oh,
No.
but also this afternoon.
Afternoon.
With Sobe.
Sobe.
Oh, I forgot. Did you stop recording, Melissa? Are you still recording?
I did not.
No. We have that meeting. What time is that at?
At
2, I think.